Dear students, today we'll be discussing a very important topic of biotechnology, that is recombinant DNA technology. After the end of this lecture, you will learn what is recombinant DNA technology, what are the tools of genetic engineering, what are the plasmid vectors for inserting the foreign gene, and the screening process for the selection of recombinants. Now, first of all, recombinant DNA technology is the joining together of DNA molecules from the two different species. The recombined molecule is inserted into a host organism to produce new genetic combinations that are of value to science, medicine, agriculture, and industry. This recombinant DNA technology is also known as gene cloning. Now, gene cloning is a molecular biology technique that makes many identical copies of a piece of DNA, such as gene. In a typical cloning experiment, a target gene is inserted into a circular piece of DNA called a plasmid. The plasmid is introduced into a bacteria via a process called transformation, and the bacteria carrying the plasmid are selected using antibiotics. Bacteria with the correct plasmid are used to make more plasmid DNA, or in some cases, induced to express the gene and make protein. Now, this is the figure which is showing a donor cell, and this is a bacterial cell. Now, foreign DNA is isolated from the donor cell, and plasmid DNA or vector DNA is isolated from a bacterial cell. These are cut using restriction enzymes, and then they are ligated to form a recombinant DNA molecule. DNA ligase is the enzyme that ligates the two molecules of DNA. Recombined DNA or recombinant DNA means ऐसा DNA जो दो different species से लिया गया हो, वो DNA, the one DNA can be from animal cell, the other DNA can be from plant cell. These two DNAs can be combined and it leads to the formation of a recombinant DNA, and then the host bacterium is transformed with the recombinant plasmid DNA. Then there are clones of recombinant DNA. These are then separated, or it is which is also known as downstream processing for the separation and the purification of the product. Now, for the recombinant DNA technology, the first and foremost thing which is required is vector. Now, vectors, they are the vehicles which are used to transfer the foreign DNA into the host DNA. वेक्टर एक व्हीकल है जिसकी हेल्प से हम फॉरेन डीएनए होस्ट डीएनए में डाल सकते हैं. वेक्टर्स में हम बेसिकली जो फर्स्ट वेक्टर्स जो डिस्कवर हुए थे देवर प्लाज्मिड्स. प्लाज्मिड्स कैसे होते हैं? दे आर सर्कुलर डबल स्ट्रैंडेड डीएनए मॉलिक्यूल्स एंड दैट आर सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम अ सेल्स क्रोमोसोमल डीएनए. इनको हम एक्स्ट्रा क्रोमोसोमल डीएनए भी बोलते हैं क्योंकि ये क्रोमोसोमल डीएनए से अलग होते हैं. दे आर क्लोज्ड, सर्कुलर एंड डबल स्ट्रैंडेड. These extra chromosomal DNAs, which occur naturally in bacteria, yeast, and some higher eukaryotic cells, exist in a parasitic or symbiotic relationship with their host cell. Plasmids, they range in size from a few thousand base pairs to more than 100 kilo base pairs. Some plasmids are single copy plasmids, means they are present in one copy per cell, and they can range up to 200 copies per cell. Many naturally occurring plasmids contain genes that provide some benefit to the host cell, fulfilling the plasmid's portion of the symbiotic relationship. For example, some bacterial plasmids encode enzymes that inactivate antibiotics. Now, this is the plasmid PBr322. BR refers to the discoverers Bolivar and Rodriguez. This plasmid is 4361 base pair in length. It has an origin of replication. The sequence of nucleotide from where the replication starts, a selectable marker which constitute genes which shows resistance to certain antibiotics like ampicillin, and cloning sites, the sites recognized by the restriction enzymes where the desired DNAs are inserted. So in this plasmid PBR322, we are seeing this ampicillin resistance gene and one is tetracycline resistance gene. It has a site for enzyme PST1, and in this case there is a site for the enzyme BAMH1. There is also a site of for EcoR1. Now this is a plasmid and one of the first widely used E. coli cloning vectors. It was created in 1977 in the laboratory of Boyer at the University of California, San Francisco, and it was named after Bolivar and Rodriguez. The small p stands for plasmid and BR for Bolivar and Rodriguez. It is 4361 base pairs in length and has two antibiotic resistant genes, the gene BLA encoding the ampicillin resistance and the gene TETA encoding the tetracycline resistance protein. Now we come on to the next series of vectors, which are PUC vectors. These plasmid vectors have the same hallmarks as traditional plasmids with the capacity to replicate independently of the bacterial genome. The feature that allows these DNAs to replicate is called an origin of replication, ORI, that is usually rich in A's and T's. However, these plasmid vectors have the additional properties that make them easy to work with and distinguishable from bacterial plasmids, a selection marker and a multiple cloning site. This is a PUC vector, PUC19. It is 2686 base pair in length. As you can see, it has a LAG-Z gene. This LAG-Z gene, it is responsible for the formation of a protein beta-galactosidase. This beta-galactosidase is an enzyme that cleaves the glycosidic linkage between glucose and galactose. So, and here this is the unique point of PUC plasmid, that it has MCS, multiple cloning site. आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं there are number of restriction enzymes. There are sites. These are the sites for various restriction enzymes. You can use any of the restriction enzyme. So it has an origin of replication and an ampicillin resistance gene. This MCS means you can use number of restriction enzymes. There is no restriction of using a particular restriction enzyme. आप यहाँ पर, because यहाँ पर बहुत सारे restriction enzymes की recognition sites हैं, तो you can use any one of these restriction enzymes. Now MCS means multiple cloning site. A selection marker usually comes in the form of a gene that encodes resistance to a specific antibiotic. As we have seen in the plasmid PBR322, we have got two resistant genes, ampicillin and tetracycline. But in this case, in PUC vectors, we have MCS site, also known as polylinker, which is a short segment of DNA which contains many, up to 20 restriction sites, which is a standard feature of engineered plasmids. Now, in case of PUC vectors, we have MCS site and we have a LAG-Z gene. So, it helps in the selection. PUC19 is a small high copy cloning vector for replication in E. coli. The PMB1 of PUC19 differs from PBR322 origin by a single point mutation and the lack of the ROP gene leading to a high copy number. It has a multiple cloning site, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले बताया, but it is within the LAG-Z alpha fragment. Inserts cloned into this site disrupts beta-galactosidase activity and give rise to white colonies on X-gal IPTG plates. If now आपको मैं दोबारा से दिखाती हूँ कि इसमें, अब इसमें देखिए, this MCS site is within the LAG-Z gene. अगर हम LAG-Z gene में अपना foreign gene clone करते हैं, this LAG-Z gene will be inactivated. Inactivated means beta-galactosidase नहीं बनेगा. This MCS site is within the LAC-Z region, means if you clone the DNA within the MCS site, your LAC-Z gene will be inactivated and no beta-galactosidase enzyme will be produced. So PUC19 has a multiple cloning site within the LAC-Z alpha fragment. An insert cloned into this site disrupts beta-galactosidase activity and will give rise to wide colonies on X-gal IPTG plates. Foreign DNA inserted in frame with the LAC-Z gene will be expressed as a fusion protein under the control of LAC promoter. The promoter is inducible with IPTG and followed by an initiation codon as well as the ribosome binding site. जब अगर हम मल्टीपल क्लोनिंग साइट में फॉरेन जीन क्लोन करते हैं, देन इट विल डिसरप्ट द LAC-Z अल्फा फ्रेगमेंट, और LAC-Z अल्फा फ्रेगमेंट बीटा गैलेक्टोसाइडेज नहीं बनाएगा एंड इट विल गिव राइज टू वाइड कॉलोनीज ऑन X-gal is a substrate. X-gal and IPTG is an inducer. It will give rise to wide colonies on X-gal IPTG plates. Now what is alpha complementation? The LAC-Z fragment whose synthesis can be induced by IPTG is capable of intra-allelic complementation with a defective form of beta-galactosidase enzyme encoded by the host chromosome. इसमें एक म्यूटेशन की गई है, म्यूटेशन LAC-ZDM15 in E. coli JM109, DH5 alpha and XL1 blue strains. In the presence of IPTG in growth medium, bacteria synthesizes both the fragments of the enzyme. Both the fragments can together hydrolyze X-gal, which is a substrate, 5-bromo-4-chloro-3-indolyl beta-D-galactopyranoside and form blue colonies when grown on media where it is supplemented. Means if a plasmid contains foreign gene in the MCS region, then it will give rise to white color colonies. अगर non recombinant है तो it will give rise to blue color colonies. Now this is the figure, you will understand better with this figure. Now in the first case, both foreign DNA and the plasmid with an ampicillin resistance gene are cut with the same restriction enzyme. हम प्लाज्मिड डीएनए को और फॉरेन डीएनए को सेम रिस्ट्रिक्शन एंजाइम से कट करते हैं सो दैट दे प्रोड्यूस सेम स्टिकी एंड्स, ताकि उनको लाइगेट करना इजी रहे. In the plasmid, the restriction site occurs in the middle of a single copy of LAC-Z gene in the plasmid. अब यहाँ पर जो आपका restriction site है, it is within the LAC-Z gene. When functional, the LAC-Z gene will lead to the production of enzyme beta-galactosidase. अगर functional gene होगा LAC-Z gene, it will produce a protein called beta-galactosidase, which is an enzyme. Cutting the LAC-Z gene prevents the eventual production of enzyme beta-galactosidase. अगर हम इस साइट को कट करेंगे, then LAC-Z gene inactivate हो जाएगा और ये beta-galactosidase enzyme नहीं बनाएगा. The restriction enzyme leaves complementary sticky ends on the foreign DNA fragment and the plasmid. As discussed earlier, अगर हम foreign DNA को और plasmid DNA को एक ही restriction enzyme से कट करेंगे तो we will get the same sticky ends. This allows the foreign DNA to be inserted into the plasmid when the sticky ends anneal. Then adding DNA ligase reattaches the DNA backbones. These are recombinant plasmids. अब क्या हुआ, हम DNA ligase से दोनों को join कर देंगे. The plasmids are combined with a culture of actively growing bacteria. Some cells do not take up plasmids, others take up non-recombinant plasmids, and a few take up the recombinant plasmids. Now, in this case, bacteria does not take up plasmid, is not ampicillin resistance. In this case, bacteria takes up non-recombinant plasmid with intact LAC-Z gene. अगर non-recombinant plasmid है, non-recombinant plasmid का मतलब the plasmid does not have the foreign gene, वो non recombinant है. अगर plasmid foreign gene लेता है then it is recombinant, और अगर वो recombinant plasmid है तो वो beta galactosidase enzyme नहीं बनाएगा. Bacteria are cultured on a plate with ampicillin and a substance that changes color when exposed to the beta galactosidase enzyme. Cells that did not take up plasmids are killed by the ampicillin. Cells with non-recombinant plasmids grow colonies that change color and cells with recombinant plasmids grow white colonies. जो blue color की colonies हैं, it means it is a non-recombinant plasmid because यहाँ पर MCS रीजन में कोई भी फॉरेन जीन इंसर्ट नहीं हुआ. अगर फॉरेन जीन इंसर्ट नहीं हुआ then functional beta galactosidase enzyme will be produced and it will react with X-gal, which is a substrate for the enzyme, and in the presence of inducer IPTG it will give rise to blue color colonies. It will give rise to blue color colonies. On the other hand, अगर foreign gene insert हो गया है enzyme, if the foreign gene has been inserted into the plasmid and that too in the MCS region, the LAG-Z region will be inactivated. LAG-Z region का inactivated होने का मतलब active beta galactosidase will not be formed and there will be no reaction between the beta galactosidase and X-gal, and only white color colonies will be produced. It means अगर recombinant plasmid है तो we will be getting white color colonies, otherwise हमें blue color की colonies मिलेंगी. So this is for all. Thank you.